still not yet powerful enough. Give him another dose of jet.
We've already given him more than he can handle. Any more may cause permanent neurological damage.
We don't have a choice. We are running out of time here.
Running out of time? What do you mean? Is there something we should know?
I just got word that American forces have invaded China.
They invaded our homeland already? Why didn't you say something?
I didn't want to cause too much of an alarm, but we need to progress with this.
What should we do then?
We're going to have to find and lock Prometheus into the catalyst.
Are you sure about this? There may be no going back.
I understand that, but we are out of options.
If that is what has to be done then.
Remember that what we are doing here is for the greater good. You there, what are you doing down here? Before I answer any of your questions, what do you suppose you'll find by coming down here then? Then I guess there's no sense in hiding it from you. What you are feeling is the power of Prometheus. I'll explain more to you up here, assuming that I can trust you. But for now, you're free to explore my laboratory. Just try not to cause any trouble. So you're here for answers then? Well, let me first introduce myself to you. My name is Shirkum Shule. I was the head scientist who led Project Illuminati, which is likely the center for all of the unusual phenomena that has been occurring in this hotel. It's a long story that begins with Project Illuminati. Project Illuminati began long before the First War between China and America in Anchorage, Alaska. It was strictly meant for the purpose of spying on the Americans, but it involved a somewhat unorthodox means of doing so. It involved the use of psychics who were capable of seeing through walls, who could see into the realms of one's mind, who could even expand their consciousness beyond their own physical body. The problem was that most self-proclaimed psychics were never capable of such abilities, but Prometheus, he was another story. Prometheus was a psychic at birth, an original psychic, so to speak. He discovered his abilities when he was still just a child. As you can imagine, he used his powers at his own discreet, often manipulating others and even matter itself. But once his powers became known to the public, it wasn't long before he was taken away from his family and to be studied and experimented on. He was still only a child at the time. The experiments involved putting him through a series of rigorous tests in order to get an idea of his abilities. Once we discovered his limitations, we began injecting him with drugs and other stimulants in an attempt to enhance his psychic abilities. But even with all the enhancements, we still needed to get him as close to the enemy in order for any of his abilities to prove useful. That's why we brought him here to the Bavaria Hotel, which was as close to the heart of the enemy as we could get him. Those were desperate times back then. I'm not proud of what I did, but at the time I believed that what I was doing was for the greater good. Everything that I have done here was for my country and my people, but now I'm not even sure if any of it was even worth it. The Bavaria Hotel. Where to begin? The Bavaria Hotel was just one of the base of operations that Chinese spies had set up in DC back then. Once we've gotten Prometheus into the hotel, we began testing to see if his abilities could get us the results that we needed. But we realized that his psychic powers were still not strong enough to see into the walls of the Pentagon. Our intelligence suggested that the Americans were constructing some kind of super weapon within the Pentagon that they planned to use against China. We needed to find out what it was, so we would already know ways of sabotaging it if the Americans ever tried. Not only that, but we would have the ability. So we were tasked with finding other ways of increasing Prometheus' psychic strength. We discovered that his psychic powers could be strengthened by absorbing, but in the process it would seem that for years we allowed for Prometheus to. It was causing people to go mad. But then people began. Then came the suicides. The Bavaria Hotel soon became. Finally there were the homicides, where people. And despite it all, the American government paid little. They assumed that the residents were merely suffering. Virtually, they managed to overlook every single incident. That the American government would begin to finally pay any attention. Yes, that's... So it seems, perhaps you possess the same sex. After the U.S. Senator was found dead, it took only a week before American forces. They finally realized that something suspicious had been going on. Immediately, some of us attempted to delay them through suicide bombing, but it was inevitable that then Prometheus would end up in the hands of the enemy. I had shackled Prometheus, which gave him full access to. I thought about it, but I couldn't have just this. Let's just say that I don't think I ever realized, because when I had shackled him, that for a moment I thought he was going to parade this building. He turned the entire hotel into a kill. It didn't end until the amount of power Prometheus plunging the hotel into darkness and leaving Prometheus. That was, of course, until someone restored power. I can only presume. He is deep underground in a catalyst that was designed to channel his power. He has been in there for so long that we're likely. There is a terminal in front of Prometheus. Now, supposing that he just doesn't tear you to pieces the moment you get anywhere near him. Not one bit. I'm just glad that the power is back. Here, I'll even give you the key to the door that leads down. Take these as well. I call them spirit grenades. Although these grenades are harmless to the living, a single one of these grenades. You're going to need all the help you can get. Now that I've answered all of your questions, why might you? I hope you're not allowing yourself to be controlled. Yeah, enough. But yeah, we made this. I assume he must be a part of the. Even after 200 years of a nuclear apocalypse, I suppose he sent you. It's probably best that you don't get involved.